It's
That's how
not
you.
rocket surgery. You just move forward.
I like that. It's not rocket
I,
surgery.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud, he's got radioactive blood. Can he swing from a thread? Take a look over.
yeah.
You and I just went to the movies here. You're a lucky guy because you got to go with your spouse,
Yeah.
and I
You
didn't.
didn't get to?
No, my wife is Spider-Man right out, and I
Oh, she
can't.
doesn't know what she missed.
I kind of I came home and I was kind of saying the same thing. Yeah, I had to go, begrudgingly with my two weird kids, and they came with me instead. So yeah, I kind of missed her. I've been going to a lot of movies lately. Do you want me to tell you which ones I've seen so far in the theater? I went
Sure.
to let me see. In the last couple of weeks, I've been to 2001: A Space Odyssey, a rehash in an IMAX theater. That was really nice. And then I went to see The Matrix, the 1999 Matrix in the theater. They reran it in my local cinema. I went to that. I went to see Don't Look Up, which will be on Netflix in 2 days, but I got a chance to see it in the theater here. And it was delightful. Watch Spider-Man. What is it? No Way Home? No Way Home. And then I just watched another movie tonight, which we'll talk about later down the road. I don't want to say anything about that one today. So I think we'll just talk about Spider-Man. You're a little bit busier of a guy than me, Tim. So I imagine that you have really shoehorned Spider-Man into your schedule.
That's right. I made the time, and Nicole was bigger on it than I was almost.
Oh, really?
Afterwards, she went and watched the two Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans
Oh, is that right?
because she had never seen them. And she's a big Spider-Man fan, but for whatever reason, she just couldn't get into those ones. So after we went and saw this recent movie, she went and watched those again. And we're probably going to marathon the other three, the original three, at some point over Christmas here.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
The
that's
Sam
just
Raimi.
yeah. So we're fairly big into Spider-Man, I'd say. Plus of
So
course, used to read the comics.
what era of comics did you read? Like, were they
Uh,
the old oldies or the
it was
80s
just
stuff?
some here or there. Like every once in a while. The thing about Spider-Man comics was it seemed like I could just pick one up once in a while and I didn't have to keep track of anything, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They were just like, this is a fun thing to read today for me. And I also read a little bit of Spider-Woman, although that's not related whatsoever. But
No, strangely enough, they're not. I don't really know too much about Spider-Woman as a character.
she was big into the venom shots.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was a poisoner.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
And she
Not
could fly.
oh,
Well, glide. She could glide.
as spiders do.
Yeah.
There was a really good run of Amazing Spider-Man comics when I started my second era of comic book collecting in the early 2000s. They renumbered them all, like they rebooted Spider-Man for a bit. Do you remember there was the clone fiasco thing? It pretty much killed Marvel Comics for a little bit in the 90s. They had the clone, what was it called? The Clone
Yeah.
Saga,
Yeah.
where there was like,
I didn't read much of that. I kind of though that period of time you said that was in the 90s, right?
yeah, it was in the late
Yeah,
90s. They
so
had the Ben Riley
I
Spider-Man and
I was in the thick of raising a young family at the time, so I kind of was busy working and not reading comics.
so you were responsible, like not like I
That's
was,
right.
because I was kind of doing the same thing shortly thereafter, but I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna buy comics too. And I did. So I did. I was buying Spider-Man all the time. I had like a kid in diapers and stuff, and I was like,
Oh
wow,
yeah.
yeah.
Is that the same time period that the original Parasite entered the picture?
The original Parasite in Spider-Man?
Like it's in Venom?
Oh, no, 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 no. In the late 90s?
Well, I can't remember. I read some of them, but I don't remember when that all occurred in the comics.
I think that was in the early 80s when Spider-Man got the black suit, turned into a dick, and then
Yeah,
it went off and
I
got into the
did.
Venom stuff.
I did read some of those ones.
So the run that I was collecting, I got back into it. Let me see here, early 2000. They did the Marvel Comics they got sick and tired of being, not selling anything. So what they did is they decided to drop the Comics Code Authority, that little, you used to see that thing on the front covers of all the comic books back in the day. They dropped that so they could do whatever they wanted. They put a rating system on their comics, and then they did the Origin of Wolverine. And I hadn't collected comics at the time, but when I heard they were doing the Origin of Wolverine, I was like, oh damn, I got to see this. And then I bought that one, and then I was just like, well, we'll see what Spider-Man's like too. So I started to get I had a box at the comic book store in Airdrie, and he would put just the whatever I ordered in there. So he didn't have a whole bunch of new stuff to browse through. He was a really good dude. He'd sneak in something that after a while, if he thought I'd like something, then he'd sneak a couple things in here or there. But the Spider-Man at the time was so good that I was just eating them up, and they wouldn't reprint anymore. So if you didn't get your favorite Marvel comic that week when it went on sale and it sold out, they were just no more. They didn't reprint any. They had a no reprint policy. So they got to be like buying freaking gold, dude. You could buy them for cover price and then turn around and sell them for 3 or 4 times that the next day. And some of them, one of them, I even got, he was like, I'll pay $30 for that right now. He had to sell it to me for $225 or whatever the cover price was. And he would have bought it for $30, and he would have turned around and resold it the next day for like $9. It was crazy. But the story was really good. And they had, I think J. Michael Straczynski was writing it at the time. And they had John Romita Jr., who everyone shits on him, but he's always been my favorite Spider-Man artist. And it was just really good. And I think some of the storyline that was in those comic books, they kind of co-opted for this movie. And it was kind of cool to see that in this show. So yeah, it was kind of neat. I'm not the biggest Spider-Man guy, and I am a little bit, I think it's fair to say, I hear a lot of people talk about how they're Spider-Man'd out, and I get it. I can see why. We've had 3. This is the 3rd version of Spider-Man that we've seen now.
I think that's the problem, is the reboots.
Yeah.
You have one guy in mind for it, and then all of a sudden it's another guy, but that one didn't really work out. But this one has this system. Oh wait, no, this is entirely different. Like the original story is sort of the same, but it's different. It just doesn't make any sense to be switching it all the time.
No. So before we get into spoiler territory here, maybe we should just give a heads up and say we can't talk about this movie without spoiling everything. And we can't talk about actually any of the other Spider-Man movies without spoiling anything. So I think right now we're just going to say, if you haven't seen Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Or any of the other 5 Spider-Mans.
Or any of the other Spider-Mans. And you really need to, then shut us off begrudgingly. Come back to us at a later date after you've webbed yourself into oblivion. And this podcast will still be here when you get back, and you can just jump in right where you left off, pause it, and then come back in 8 days after you've watched all those. So now that we've said that, it's fair game. Haha.
You know what I don't like about the new one, and this is maybe it's just me, but what's up with the naming? No Way Home, Some Way Home, I'm Going Home, Home. I don't understand. What are these names for these moves? It doesn't make. I read it and I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. Where did this come from?
Well, you've kind of touched on something for me. So I didn't see the first one, Homecoming. I skipped that in the theater. I was just like, I've fucking Spider-Man. Like
that name didn't make any sense either.
To me, that one did, because it was actually, he was in high school and there was like a homecoming party and all that jazz. And you kind of like loosely tied in there. Like, I mean, at the end of the movie, I think he takes, what's her name? Liz, to that homecoming dance or whatever it is.
I pretty much don't give a shit at all about homecoming dances myself, personally. Maybe that's sacrilege, but unless Carrie is going to show up and blood's going to spray everywhere, I don't want to see that.
No, I don't. Yeah, you don't want to go. So I could see that one, but you kind of touched on something that I kind of found a fundamental problem with this new Spider-Man, was that it was so close to the other version. I guess it would be, who's that guy? Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It was so close between those 2 movies. Geez, I want to say it was only like 2 years or something like that from when we got the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man to the Tom Holland one. One of the problems that I have both versions of Spider-Man before Tom Holland's, you got the same shit, and it got regurgitated, right? You had to watch Uncle Ben die. You had to get the talk out of the
Yeah.
way, the great power. And they skipped over all that stuff in this one for this version, and they just kind of plopped him in right in the middle of everything. Aunt May is Marissa Tomei. They kind of allude to there being an Uncle Ben in the picture with like a suitcase or something like that and his initials on it. Kind of talk about it a little bit, like something bad had happened to him or something like that when Tony Stark shows up, but they just don't touch on it at all. So now you have this version of Spider-Man that doesn't really have anything Spider-Man-y about him other than he wears the suit and says funny shit, right? So for me, the first movie, I watched it and it's a good movie. All these movies are good movies, but it didn't really stick for me the way that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man stuck for me. And, I don't think the Andrew Garfield movies were the best either. They have their problems, but those ones stuck to the character a little bit better than I'd say this one did. I don't know. What do you think?
So the first three, I was a big fan of those ones, but they did the story once, and I thought they did it pretty good. The third one was, okay, well, this is pretty well over the top. Too much stuff was happening the whole time. So that's fine. Then suddenly we're going into another Spider-Man, and it seemed unnecessary, kind of. I don't like going over and over origin stories. That's why if they come out with another Superman movie where they're going to go over the whole origin again with a new Superman, I'm not going to watch it whatsoever. I don't care anymore. I don't ever want to see Superman growing up again. It's over. You know what I mean? Like, we've done that multiple times. We even had an entire TV series about it. So do we need to do that anymore? No, we don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
We just really don't need to do it more over and over with new characters. And then again, with more new characters, we could do something new with that character. That's how I feel about it. So Spider-Man is the same way. And at least now with this movie, we're going to get into the spoilers here. They've finally done that because they've tied them all together and they've gone, okay, the reason we have, should we just spoil it?
Yeah, we're doing
The
it.
reason we have these three Spider-Men and these individual sets of movies is because they actually happen in different dimensions that are now all going to be connected. They finally fixed this problem for me. So I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that I'd have to agree with you on is that by the time this movie's all said and done, they actually took the character and moved him to another. He's on a different level now. I mean, he's totally changed. Arguably, the second movie there was a bunch of fluff in there and there was some fun scenes and everything like that. And then that last scene in that second movie where his identity gets revealed, man, like I kind of complain about the Marvel movies and I'm pretty hard on them because to me, they seem to lack consequence. Things happen, like really big things happen, and they don't really seem to have, there have been consequences, but
they claw some of them back.
Well, they claw some of them back, or they're the only one that I can really see that has any sort of staying power is the Tony Stark snap in the Avengers Endgame, right? That guy had played that role there's a whole bunch of things at play. Like they're giving the character a nice little swan song. So it was kind of felt natural. But other than that, I don't think that there's anything where I was like, holy shit, there's a really great moment in here where like a character had a real consequence to pay. Like I really felt like this was very serious and it affected a character in a certain way. But in this movie here, holy shit, dude, like the first half of this movie was like a punch in the guts. What I'm talking about here is, I guess we'll talk about the plot a little bit. So Peter Parker makes a kind of mistake, kind of willy-nilly. He goes to Doctor Strange. He asks him to kind of undo everyone knowing that he's Spider-Man. And then it gets so convoluted that everything starts to spill out. And because he's really cool, he can outsmart Doctor Strange a little bit with using math instead of magic, which I thought was a funny little scene. He outsmarts Doctor Strange. And then the realities start to bleed in, releases the bunch of villains from all the other Spider-Man movies into his reality. He doesn't know who these guys are, and he doesn't know how deadly and dangerous they are. And then shit goes kind of south on him when he's trying to help these guys. And Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, kills Aunt May. Whoa. I didn't see it coming. And when it did happen...
Neither did I, but when she first got hit, I was like, there's no way she got up after that. Well, and then it turns out that she didn't really get up.
No, and the way they did that is it was kind of a good trick. It's kind of like one of those people who has like a head injury or something like that, and
Yeah.
they'll get up and walk around afterwards and seem normal, and they just definite punch in the gut for me. And I didn't see it coming, and I was actually surprised. And the repercussions of that echo through the whole movie in a way that I don't think a whole lot of Marvel movies have had anything like that at all. They've been missing that. They always seem so fluffy and fun and colorful, and that's why people like them. But this one actually did it. It went there, and I liked it, man. I
This
don't know.
this might be something that happens in Spider-Man movies though, because all along, Spider-Man, his uncle dies, right?
Yeah,
In the original story. In the first set of movies, didn't his best friend die in his arms?
Harry,
Didn't
yeah,
Harry end up
and
dead? Yeah.
yeah,
And people that he liked and respected got twisted and evil out of their own control. Like bad things happen in Spider-Man movies. In the second series of them, Gwen ends up not making it.
yeah.
Bad things just happen in Spider-Man movies.
Well, that's kind of been the big thing with the character is that he's a guy that like he's an average guy, and this is the thing where Marvel Comics has always been a little bit separate from the DC counterparts. Is Marvel are always like real average people dealing with crazy powers and circumstances, right? And no character embodies that for the Marvel universe better than Peter Parker Spider-Man. He's a character who's like really fun to watch and is really optimistic and is always kind of plucky and
And
outgoing.
stronger than almost everybody else.
Yeah, he's
There was
and
there's been two different little incidences that have been said to show that Spider-Man's one of the most powerful beings in the universe because first of all, when he was snapped out of existence, he took longer to evaporate than anybody else.
yeah, he did.
And second of all, when he got shoved out of his body could still react using a spider sense and dodge Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Nobody else can do those things.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
And at
Now,
the same time, pretty naive.
well, see, here's the other thing too is so the comic book run that I was talking about that I really liked, for whatever reason, all three versions of Spider-Man that we've had in movie form so far have all done one thing in common, is that they always set the story where Peter Parker's in high school. And he never seems to get past high school. Well, I guess he did in the Sam Raimi ones, and he got into university or whatever, but he's always very young and a kid. And in the comic series that I had that I think had a heavy influence on this movie, he's an older guy and he's got older guy problems. Like, he's separated from Mary Jane and, he's trying to figure out his professional life. He's teaching at a school or something like that. And he's kind of trying to balance that out with being Spider-Man. And then he gets a villain who's just really unstoppable and is out for blood that he has to fight. So he's kind of got more adult problems in the books. And I kind of wish they'd go into that mode of the character. And I'm hoping that they do more movies with what they've got going on right now, because I think if they got to that place, it's a natural progression. We've seen jolly old high school Peter Parker so many times and it gets boring.
This is a problem with all the characters. We should have gone way past Superman, the teenager, and we should have seen 60-year-old Superman by now, right? Like, what has happened to that character? Why is this guy eternally being reborn as a teenager over and over again? Why is the only movie that has ever done this Logan? When do these characters ever live a normal life cycle?
Yeah, we're touching on some Hollywood fuckery here. I think we're going to have to talk about that too, because as happy as I am with this movie, there is a little bit of Hollywood fuckery going on here that I'm going to say, if I keep seeing it, if they keep doing this to me, I'm going to tune out. We'll talk about that one a bit later. But you see these things, they just don't know what to do. So, there's a whole bunch of politics involved when they make a movie like this. And right now, I mean, this young guy, Tom Holland here, he's done 3 Spider-Man movies now and a couple of Avengers movies. So he's played Spider-Man, I'm going to say 5 times so far. He showed up in movies. He's played Spider-Man more than all the other guys combined.
And he's much older than a teenager.
Yeah, he is.
He's 25, right?
Yeah, he's getting closer to 30 than he is 18.
I think him and his main squeeze are both 25, 24, 25.
Yeah.
They just happen to look young.
They do. And that's the benefit of getting these young looking folks, is that you can kind of have them play any age and bring a certain maturity and gravity to stuff without having them be having to deal with like 15-year-old kid problems. But yeah, I'd really like to see, like, it doesn't even have to be, I know we go back to, we talk about James Bond a lot here. And I think James Bond is kind of effective in that. Is like, you don't really need to know what James Bond is about every time we show you a new actor. You don't have to have a big origin story. You don't have to have any of that stuff. You know what James Bond's all about. He's about cool cars and blowing shit up and everything else that comes with James Bond. So when you see another actor in there, you just walk in and he's got a whole new set of problems to deal with, and there you go, you got James Bond. But it's kind of
this whole
same
multiverse idea could potentially solve some of these problems, because maybe, just maybe, the X-Men are going to show up, or whatever the X people, or whatever they're going to call them to be politically correct. They might just pop into existence fully formed. We might not have to watch them go through all their shit, because they just came from another universe.
Well, that's I could buy that. I mean, you show me a different version of Wolverine and Cyclops and Jean Grey and Beast and all that stuff, and
all fully formed and already a team.
Yeah, I mean, by this time, everyone who's watching these shows, there's no new minds walking into these shows just out of the blue. Everyone's going to know who these people are. We've had 1998. I'm terrible at math. I don't know how long ago that was. I'm going to say 22, 23 years or something like that. 23 years of these modern, what I'd say are the modern superhero movies, starting with Blade and going through X-Men, Spider-Man, all that jazz up until now. And that's kind of been the game we've been running the whole time. So, I mean, if anyone is alive that doesn't know these characters by now, then that's too bad. They can get caught up. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like walking into a comic book. I mean, I'm not going to go buy X-Men because I haven't read X-Men #1. I know who they are already. I'll pick up issue 356 or whatever that I can afford to without taking out a major loan, and I'll start reading that.
Yeah. You don't have to go back and watch Steamboat Willie to appreciate Mickey Mouse.
No.
Who gives a crap? I don't.
So I'd agree with you here. So now, getting into the whole multiverse aspect of this, the villains get released into Tom Holland Spider-Man's world, and he doesn't know who any of them are. And it's kind of humorous to see, because we all know who they are, and that's great. So they all come in. But then later on in the show, Ned and MJ are looking for Peter Parker with the little portal thing that Ned has on his hand or whatever. And when they ask it for Peter Parker, and a different version of Peter Parker walks through, and it's Andrew Garfield, and then they do it again, and Tobey Maguire comes in. So we've got all the different Spider-Mans here now. Now, this is kind of the first half of the movie. Like I said, I found it really impactful. But as soon as this happened, I thought it kind of got into schmaltz for a little period of time. And I think I don't know how you felt about it, but I was like really invested until then. And then as soon as Tobey Maguire showed up and the other guys, and they had like the little love-in session or whatever, where they all kind of showed off. They crawled around the ceiling. Tobey Maguire was dressed like a youth pastor. I think it was still fun to see.
You're great. No, you're great. I'm not great. No, you're great.
It was still fun to see.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of like, okay, this is the way they did it, was so like the way they had those guys all interacting. I just kind of thought it got kind of corny. It never took me out of the movie or anything, and it didn't really drag it down, but it did kind of feel like schmaltz. Whenever these things happen now, instead of like getting that elated feeling, I kind of feel like cheap. That's what it took.
Yeah, the whole cleaning the spiderweb off ceiling thing was, I was like, really? Are we wasting our precious time doing this?
Yeah, but you know what? Like, this isn't a Federico Fellini film here. This is a comic book movie and stuff. So,
and that did spawn an awful lot of good memes.
It did, yeah. It did.
I think I'd sent you a couple.
You did. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the shit out of those. They were funny. But yeah, it got a little schmaltzy there. And then when you see all three Spiderman doing their Spider-Man
Spider Boys
together, yeah, it was kind of cool. And you know what was really cool was that I kind of feel Hollywood politics has kind of played a big role in having all these different versions of Spider-Man. So the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, he was going to do a fourth movie, but for whatever reason, they were planning on doing it, and then it just kind of fell apart. They announced that they were rebooting everything. They did those two movies, and they kind of just man, they made a mess out of that second one. It was like just all over the place. They kind of did all the same things wrong that they did with Spider-Man 3. And then it didn't perform it still did well, I think, but it didn't perform to their expectations. So they just didn't know what to do. So that's why we have these 3 different versions of Spider-Man. All of them have their merits, and to see them all kind of come together in a way that was good, and to take the new Spider-Man into the same realm that the other 2 Spider-Men I don't know how many times I'm going to do that, but it's fun to take them into that kind of to take him and put him kind of in the same position where he's actually experienced some shit, and he's had to suffer a little bit like they have, and grow as a character. That's the Spider-Man that everyone kind of I think is in love with, and not the hey, nothing bad ever happens to me kind of Spider-Man, which is what we've had so far. Yeah, I don't know, a little schmaltzy. And Hollywood, I'll tell you, if you keep doing it to me, I'm gonna catch on, and I'm just gonna expect it, and there won't be any surprises left for me. But it was good. What did you think?
I'm a little worried about his ex-best friend there.
Oh yeah, Ned?
Yeah. Like there's a potential there for him to become one of the evil villains now, because he doesn't have Spider-Man in his life. I mean, after all, he's magic, and best friends don't have good luck against Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's a guy who can't keep friends, it seems.
Yeah. So there's a couple flaws. Maybe they're minor. Maybe you could explain them away somehow. But for instance, the old Spider Sense should have told them before, at the end there where Tobey Maguire got stabbed in the kidney or whatever happened there. How in the world did they not sense that coming?
Well, maybe he did, but he just didn't do anything about it, because it would have meant that the other guy would have killed
It
somebody.
would have ruined the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe. Electro Man, or whatever his name was there.
Yeah.
He never knew Peter Parker, so he shouldn't have been dragged in by the spell.
No,
and the
he
proof
didn't.
of that is because he said, all along I was hoping you were black.
Yeah, that he did say that.
So there's no way the spell should have brought him. There was a couple other things like that, and I can't remember them right now, but there's a few inconsistencies. But it is magic, so maybe the spell was already broken. So we could maybe say that.
Well, I'll tell you, all the cheers that went up in the movie theater when Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire stepped through their little portals, that was magic.
That was, yeah.
That was good magic. It's hard not to really kind of feel that when you're sitting in the theater with a bunch of people, which is a pretty good experience. Now,
I think box office is speaking for how much people like this movie.
What's not to like? You got everything here. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things in line with this movie. I think people are really tired of everything right now, and they need something to feel good. And Spider-Man is guaranteed to do that. Tell me someone whose face doesn't light up when you sing him the Spider-Man theme song.
Good
They
point.
love him. Yeah.
I should go dig up the Aerosmith version of the Spider-Man song.
Oh, come on. That's blasphemy. You got to find the Ramones one.
Change that into my ringtone or something.
You got to go with the Ramones.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now, a couple things here. So for me, I think what I'm talking about is this, I've heard it referred to as nostalgia bait, where if you look in the grand scheme of this movie, and you wanted to take Peter Parker from point A to kind of destroyed point B, there were a lot of ways that you could have done that without, I think, kind of bringing the nostalgia bait stuff into play. But
are you talking about pasture baiting?
Is that what they call it?
Pasture baiting or nostalgia baiting?
What is pasture baiting?
Well, that's basically anything where you overemphasize how wonderful the past was.
I don't know that they did that for here. Like, I wouldn't say they did that entirely, but they did kind of what I'm thinking they actually did do was, instead of just going, the past was so much better, they went, the past was good and the present was good and the future is good. So we'll bring all those things in, but those feelings that you got from those, they were also good. And we're going to give you more of those in a big old 5,000 cc syringe full of happiness. And they just pump that right into you, right? So I wouldn't say it's like, it wasn't really glorifying the past. It was like, hey, the thing that I really liked about this was, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, specifically when it comes to Star Wars. So what this reminded me of specifically was that big Luke Skywalker moment in The Mandalorian. We're spoiling that too. Mm-hmm. If you haven't seen that, it's been 2 years. If your head is shaking. But it reminded me of that. In particular, with that franchise, we had that version of the character the last time we saw him, it was kind of rotten, and some people liked it. I was not one of those people. I didn't like the sulky version of Luke Skywalker that was the total antithesis of everything that he was in all the first three movies, and had learned nothing and had gone the opposite route of what his character had been driven to. And it was really nice. Yeah. We had the green sea cow milk drinking right from the booby Luke Skywalker. Like, fuck, man, that was rough.
Who's going to forget that?
Nobody's going to forget that, but it's so awful. Like, the feeling that gives you is just bad, right?
I'm slumming it, and I'm going to do it with a smile on my face while I look you in the eye.
Yeah, and he's like, "Screw the Jedi, everything sucks.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm not. You know, that's just like, holy shit. Who are you, dude? Like, who are you?" And we didn't have any run up to that. It was just like, whack, he sucks now. Deal with it. So when everyone got to that moment in The Mandalorian, just seeing that guy do something heroic, I got misty watching that shit. Yeah. And I won't lie, like when you see all the three Spider-Man on screen at the same time, you know, you get a little choked up as a 40-something-year-old dweeb, right?
This is what Marvel does right, though, in the movies, is that they take all the things that we saw back in the day, and maybe they weren't really that good. Like, if you're talking about a comic from the 70s, 80s, 90s, or whatever, you know, we remember it one way, but in reality, was it really as shiny as we remember it? Probably not. But they take those little bits that signify that to us in our brains, and they put them in these new movies, and they show us the best chunks of it.
That's right.
And what is wrong with that?
Well, in this particular case, I mean, nothing. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now that and I use the word schmaltz to describe this movie, and it's schmaltzy. It's like, hey, you know, we're gonna rely on these old good feelings to get us through this movie or whatever, instead of, you know, some storytelling power, which is fine. And I'm gonna say it's schmaltzy. That's not me saying that it's bad. It's just schmaltzy. It's schmaltzy can be good. It's a great word. But yeah, I think there's a kind of a point of what I was going to say is that I will take this version. You know, I really felt that all the past versions of the characters were respectfully treated. And if you like those versions of the characters, you're going to like them in this version too. Man, I'd rather see that than have a whole movie that I paid to see tell me why the thing that I liked is shitty. And you know what I mean? So it was really nice, and I'm going to say refreshing to see a movie do that. We're going to bring the guys that you like back. They're not going to be the main guy. They're going to have a cool role to play. You're going to get to watch your hero do something heroic, and then we're going to leave you with a good taste in your mouth. Okay. And I went, okay. And I'm happy with that movie. So I don't know, man. What other thoughts do you have about this show?
So where can they go from here? There's a potential here for there to be 3 different Spider-Man universes going at the same time. Are they actually going to do that? And there's rumors that they're going to do an animated version of the original movie, or the original trilogy may get a 4th animated version. It's in talks already. There's also talks about Andrew Garfield's movies getting something happening. And then, of course, we know that there's no way that the Marvel Universe isn't going to have some Spider-Man stuff happening as well, because they're kind of all 3 separate. We don't know yet if Spider-Man features in what's the next Doctor Strange movie called?
Oh, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. We're unsure if he's going to be anywhere near that or not. I haven't heard. Probably nobody knows yet.
There's only one cameo we know about so far in that one.
Yeah.
So, or well, I guess.
So yeah,
looks like more than.
I don't know where they're going to head from here. If they do too much all at the same time, we are going to be Spider-Man'd out. But we do have, what's the vampire's name?
Morbius.
Yeah. So he's from, we're not sure which universe now, right?
Well, I just watched the trailer for that tonight, and Michael Keaton is playing the same guy, and I noticed a lot of the same faces from the first Spider-Man Tom Holland movie. So I think they're throwing that in with this stuff too.
So he's in the same universe as the Avengers.
It appears that way. I mean, they got the Vulture. That's who Michael Keaton was playing. Vulture is right too. that movie, and his henchmen are all in there. Like the guy who played, I think the second version was it Bokeem Woodbine? I think was playing the Shocker too. I think I saw him in the trailer for that. So those guys are both back in it. So it looks like Spider-Man gets a little complicated when it comes to the rights stuff because Sony's still involved.
Okay, so now which universe is like the Andrew Garfield universe? Is that the one with Venom in it then?
Did you watch the credit sequence, the first one, right?
Yes.
I have a feeling that he's off in his own universe and he got pulled in from one of the other ones. I don't know that it didn't matter
but
so much.
But he did say something that led us to believe that Spider-Man was in that universe because he said that guy. Oh, it's that guy kind of deal he said, right? Which led some of us to believe that he knew about Spider-Man already.
Well, he could have been like just poking around for a few days in the because that was kind of the shtick in that little scene was that he was there. Lucky for him, he got beamed into this reality, looked in like a tropical spot where you could get some nice beachside cocktails, and was having a great time.
If he didn't know Spider-Man, he would have no reason to show up, though.
Well, there you go again, busting all the logic apart for this movie.
Well, no, he must obviously know something about Spider-Man, or the spell couldn't have brought him, right? Well, I'm just following their own logic.
I haven't seen the new Venom movie, but apparently there's a scene at the end of that where he's watching Spider-Man on TV. So
like
I don't
know. Movie
know.
Or something happening.
Yeah, like in the movie. I think the Venom movie has an end credit sequence where he's watching like a TV and sees Spider-Man on TV.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. He must come from one of the Spider-Man universes.
Yeah, or I don't know if he's maybe just bled into the other reality that he's a guest in, and in time for enough to catch like a little bit of the Spider-Man, because it certainly seemed like Venom was really interested in finding this guy or whatever, Spider-Man. So they left a little blob for him later on down the road.
I'm going to go on the theory that he must be from a Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
And we'll find out eventually. So what about William Dafoe?
Well, I think he stole the movie. In all honesty, like he stepped into that role, like he walked off the set of Spider-Man 1 yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, he killed it.
Oh,
he did it even better than he ever did before, maybe.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't know what kind of water that guy's drinking, but he's in his 60s now, I think, and he looked great. Like that guy looked great. He didn't look really any older than he did. I don't know if maybe they did the whole Marvel trick where they made him look younger or whatever, but he seemed like his physicality and stuff, he still seemed like a younger guy or whatever, not a guy in his mid to late 60s or however old he is.
Well, he must have been hitting the juice lately, because holy shit is he strong.
yeah. He sure seemed that way. For me, I walked out of that movie going, holy shit. I didn't think he'd have that big of a role, but he was in the movie quite a bit. I thought it'd maybe just be like, oh yeah, we're going to have some Green Goblin scenes or whatever, but he was the main villain and he was scary. He pulled it off great and made me hate him all over again.
Yeah. Between the Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus and Sandman, like that really made a big chunk of the movie like good. The electric guy, whatever. He doesn't seem to have a lot of personality to him, right? Like there's not he's a shallow character. But
yeah, they kind of made him into the typical dorky guy in the original movie or whatever, and they kind of did away with that for this one. So I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to the second Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movie because I thought it was kind of dork, like it just didn't hit for me. But so I can't really remember that one too well. But I just remember him being the stereotypical nerd.
And then he was just a power hungry villain.
Yeah.
Ruthless villain.
Fairly one-dimensional.
Yeah. Like the other three have like something behind them.
Yeah.
So
no, I think they gave him a little bit more to do. And Jamie Foxx he's a good actor. Like he did a good job in the movie too. He had some scenes that he stole.
Oh yeah.
The Lizard was kind of forced to the back burner.
Yeah. He didn't have a large role per se either. I just felt like they could have done better with, is his name Electro Man?
Electro.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done more with him. But he had some pretty stiff competition there and not as much time on screen maybe.
Yeah, I think they kind of curbed him a little bit to just kind of make sure the Green Goblin got as much time as he needed to really kind of. You can hate what is there, 5 villains? They were one away from doing the Sinister Six. You can kind of like get to not liking all of them pretty quickly, but you really need to not like Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, for this one. And I think they pulled it out. I have I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my kid's favorite part of the movie was when Ned got Doctor Strange's cape and was flying around.
Oh, yeah.
That was like big time laughs all over the place. We love that scene. Everyone was pretty happy with that. It stuck in my mind. It was just, I like that guy. He's so fun to watch, and he's kind of funny and dorky. The end. What'd you think of the end? So everyone has forgotten Peter Parker, including MJ and Ned and Happy. He's all alone.
Well, again, there's logical problems. Does she remember where she got the cut on her face? Does she remember Spider-Man? Because if she remembers how she got the cut on her face, she'd have to remember Spider-Man. When she sees the TV and Spider-Man's on it, does she go, who the hell is that? Or does she go, oh, that's Spider-Man? But then if she does that, then does she remember where she got the cut on her face?
Maybe. I think she just has entirely forgotten Peter Parker.
Yeah, but then why would she think that she was at the big battle scene then, where she got the cut on her face?
Yeah, they just skirted around that.
You know what I mean?
They didn't say where.
Yeah.
If she remembered where she got it or not, but maybe she routinely gets in knife fights. I mean, it is Queens.
It is. Okay, so next thing. If the entire world has forgotten Peter Parker, how does he rent an apartment? He won't have a driver's license or nothing for the rest of his life. Like, he's screwed. He's not getting a passport. He doesn't exist. He's forgotten.
Well,
he can't rent an apartment. You know what I mean? Like
he's still got his ID and stuff. I think everyone's just going to be like, "Oh, they're going to look at his ID for the first time and be like, "Oh, I don't know who you are. You're just Joe Schmo from Idaho, and you don't mean anything to me." But
maybe
he hasn't been unpersoned. Everyone's just forgotten who he is, really. So,
well, if I was the DM of this world, that's not how that would go down. The database would forget him. The entire world, including the computer.
That'd be kind of fun. The off-grid Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of felt like it had a little bit of an emotional weight, and he had his little story to tell at the end.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if anybody would actually choose that. I think you'd at least try, maybe fail to convince them that you were somebody.
Well, I think,
and then they turn you into the cops, and then, yeah.
Well, I don't think it would have gone the way that he wanted. Did you see that episode of Rick and Morty where he goes into the vat of acid? The vat of acid episode?
I don't think so.
They have kind of a similar thing happen in that one. I don't want to spoil that for you. I laughed until I cried at that one. Whoever wrote that is a cruel, inhuman, deviant mind, and I thought it was brilliant. You'll have to check that out. The vat of acid episode. It's
I haven't made it there yet. I'm getting there.
Oh, you let me know when you do, because it's a gem. The guy who told me about it, a coworker of mine, told me that I would really particularly enjoy it. And when I finally got to watch it, I laughed so hard.
Okay, well, I'll have to try to hit it before the end of the Christmas holidays here.
Yeah, this has
maybe we'll do an episode on it.
We could do an episode on the vat of acid episode. It's crazy. I really like this movie. I think when I left the theater, if you were to ask me what I thought of it when I left the theater, I would have given it like a million biological web shooters out of 10.
A million out of 10. Holy shit.
Yeah, but now that it's kind of settled back for me, I've kind of digested it a bit. I would give it like 69 web shooters out of 89.
Oh, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
I see you've adopted my system now.
I'm really liking this system.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would probably go 20.3 out of 25.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I'm bad at math, and one day I'll when I'm editing this podcast, I'm gonna crunch the numbers and see who liked it more.
Who liked it more than I did, I think, maybe, but yeah.
I'm cautiously. I just really wanted to feel good at the movies, and this gave me that. And I was really happy about it. I actually saw, there's been a bunch of back and forth with the real serious filmmakers and stuff like that are out there. They all kind of take turns shitting on Marvel. And I see that, like Martin Scorsese shit on the Marvel movies, and Denis Villeneuve kind of shit on the Marvel movies, and everyone's kind of taking their turn. And I see their point. These are popcorn movies,
Oh
and
yeah.
they're so prevalent now, and they
What's it?
make so
Ridley
much money.
Scott? Ridley Scott recently did too for
Ridley
his.
Scott, he shit on the Marvel
But
movies like
but
he
the
hasn't
thing is,
made.
he made a movie that none of us give a shit about. It's about
Oh,
knights. Plain old boring.
he had two
I don't
movies
even
in the same
care.
time. He had another movie in the
No,
theater at the same time that one was out. House of Gucci. That's his movie also.
another thing that I'll never watch.
I
But the
have to
thing is,
watch it.
you have to play to your market.
Yeah.
If you're going to complain that the people that are not in your market didn't watch your movie that they don't want to see, what are you talking about? You know, if you write horror books and you complain that people that read Chatelaine don't read your horror books, or if you're a fashion designer and you complain that scientists don't buy your shit, like
Mhm.
shut up.
Well,
No one, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to watch a movie about knights. And apparently a lot of other people don't also.
well, I'm gonna watch that movie.
Well, maybe I'll watch it someday, but it's not a priority. I'm not going to go to a theater to see it because I just don't want to, and a lot of other people don't want to. So if you say, "Oh yeah, everyone's stupid. They don't want to." Well, I don't know, make stuff that people want to see then.
See, it's kind of not what these guys are saying though. What they're
You
saying is
know?
it's not that these movies are bad or whatever. They're just saying that what's happening now is there used to be like a market for smaller movies, and that's kind of
Yeah.
disappearing. Like there used to be like a 10, 20 million dollar movie that would be entertaining, that wouldn't have all this stuff. It might be a little action piece or a thriller or a
Mhm.
revenge movie or something like that. And because these movies are the only ones that are making money now, they're just kind of gravitating more towards those, and they're not making anything of anything else. So it's kind of like squeezing all the other people out of the game. But to be honest with you, I've seen more good shit. I go out of my way now to not watch superhero movies. I'm a little
Well, that's
oversaturated.
fine. I'm not saying they need to be a superhero movie, but he's not building anything that I want to see.
Well, you don't know that. You got to watch it. Like maybe I heard that Last Night movie is really good.
Maybe. But every time I watch a movie about just knights and stuff like that, I'm bored out of my tree. So it's hard pressed to get me to watch anything like that right now. And if it says the word Gucci in it, not interested. I don't even know
Well,
what it's about, but the word itself means something that I don't care about. So, and maybe I'm speaking for the millennial people, which I'm not one of those people, but I suspect that a lot of them also don't care about it, and that's why they're not going to see it because they're not the target audience for that. They just aren't.
no. Yeah, well,
You
that's the
know?
thing. I think it kind of goes back to that old Henry Ford quote, though, that we keep talking about, is that if people asked him what he wanted when he was making the first car, they would have told him
Mhm.
faster horses, right? I think people just like don't know what they want until they see it, and then they're like, "Oh wow, that was really cool." And that's kind of, for me, I think the reason I kind of get on board that criticism, and I don't like, Marvel movies are fine and comic book movies are fine. You and I have discussed lots of them, and we've both liked our fair share of them, and I certainly do, and I still see them. I mean, I've seen Shang-Chi, I've seen we watched, I'm probably going to watch Hawkeye and stuff like that too. It's just I don't think I'm going to go like way out of my way to watch them, which is fine. But you know, they have their place and stuff. But man, I really want to see other movies kind of too, like, you know,
Okay.
to have them kind of go away, and they're just not coming out as much anymore. Like think about, you're sitting there in 1996 or whatever, 95, and you know you're going to the big summer movie that year, and it's a big action spectacle, but it's not tied to a comic book property or a book or anything. It's just about a bunch of losers going out into space to blow up an asteroid, right? When was the last time you saw something like that?
True. And I guess maybe why they're not getting to make as many is because they weren't doing very good. But
Well, the tendency
still,
is for them to just kind of chase the thing that gets better, right? So this is the thing, like it's an interesting history, the comic book movie,
no.
because
Well, okay. So one of these people that makes movies, though, had a perfect opportunity to make more movies about aliens, which is nothing like superhero movies.
Mhm.
So he made a really depressing movie that most people didn't like, the last one in the installment in the Aliens movies, and turned us off of Alien movies, and then stopped making them. You know what I mean? He took something perfectly not like superheroes and then bombarded it with depressingness so that we'll never go see another one now.
Do you
And
mean,
then stopped making them.
are you talking Prometheus or Alien Covenant?
Alien Covenant.
Oh, that was a rough one.
It was like, why did I see this? I went to the theater for this,
I
so
did
I could
too.
feel like shit afterwards.
Yeah. I
So,
felt like I swallowed a bag
you know,
of badger boogers watching that movie.
and that was not a superhero movie. It was, oh, so maybe it was a big blockbuster movie or whatever, but he does have the option to build things other than stuff about knights.
Oh yeah. And
Like that
he's
is
got
overdone. If anything is overdone, that's it.
so
So,
when he said all that stuff, I went and I looked up his filmography, and he's got a string of turds. Like, that guy doesn't, we're talking about the guy who made Alien, Gladiator.
Prometheus.
I liked Prometheus. I don't know if you
I
did or
loved
not.
it was crazy and silly and horrible, but I liked
Um,
it.
did he do Thelma and Louise, or was that Tony Scott? No, he did Thelma and Louise, I think. He's got some smash hits behind him and some big critical acclaim, right? But he's also got a string of fucking duds like that'll make your head spin. Like, there was one called the Counselor. It was so brutal. But that's the thing I like about that guy, is that he swings for the fences, and not every movie he has hits, but he's not scared of making a turd once in a while. And he makes them, like, he makes a turd. My wife went and saw House of Gucci, and she came home and said that was a turd. And the last night or whatever, the Ben Affleck, Kylo Ren, what's that other guy that always gets cut off of Jimmy Fallon, Matt Damon, they're all in that movie, and I heard that's a good one. But it's hard to say. I don't know. I miss right now that, like, if you were going to put down $125 million on a movie, nobody's going to make Gladiator. They're going to go make another Spider-Man. They're not going to do it. And that was Gladiator was, I don't know if you like that one or not, but that was like the kind of thing I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I like this. This is not in my wheelhouse at all. I loved it. But
Well,
I don't know.
Gladiator's not overdone though. That era of time is not as overdone as the King Arthur times.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have made hundreds of series on TV about it and gone on and on about it.
They're starting to catch up now. That was a big hit, and then we got Spartacus, Blood and Sand, and we got Troy after that, and we got Kingdom of Heaven, which was also one of his movies. So they kind of stuck with that motif. Then he did what was the other one that was a big hunk of shit? There was Exodus, Gods and Kings, where Christian Bale was like an ass whipping Moses, and he was like going around doing all this crazy Moses shit, just like chopping people up and having big war scenes. It was pretty nuts.
Well, we'll see, because there is ways to revival old things, right? For instance, we got a cowboy revival, which maybe we should talk about some other night.
Cowboy revival, yeah.
The old Yellowstone.
Yeah, I'm into that show right now. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a source of many debates in my house.
Well, let's debate that, but not right now.
No. Yeah, we'll have to.
It's a long debate.
It is, yeah.
I have some thoughts too.
Well, it's been interesting, I guess. We always kind of meander off. We enjoyed the shit out of Spider-Man, but gave it a backhanded compliment at the end, and I don't even feel bad for it. Yeah.
It was a good time.
I had a great time.
If you haven't seen it, if you like Spider-Mans, you should probably go see it.
I think so. I think you'd be, if you just want to feel good about something again, just go see Spider-Man before you can't.
Go see all the Spider-Mans in one place.
All the Spider-Mans. That's the next movie. It's just going to be called Spider-Mans.
Spider-Mans Come Home.
Yeah. Or is it Spider-Mans?
Spider-Man's Home.
All right, Tim. Well,
okay.
It's been nice chatting with you again.
Yeah.
And would you say it's been a slice? I think so.
Yeah, I think it's been a slice.
All right. Until next time.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
up and web snappers. What was that?